Bonsoir les amis, this is Llyane Stanfield and you can find me at parisianfrench.com. I want to ask you if you know, what do you need to know in order to have your first conversation in Paris? And if that wouldn't be your first conversation in Paris, what would you need to know in order to make a comfortable, confident conversation in Paris? Or if that's not you, then what do you need to know in order to brush up and have a great conversation in Paris? Do you know? So in this ultimate crash course on Sunday, I'm preparing 7 tricks to hold a conversation around need-to-know topics so that your stay in Paris is flawless. Everything you need to know to get by while speaking French in your next trip to Paris. So I'm going to give you all the topics that I'm going to cover this Sunday. This is a huge deal because everybody's asking for a crash course, but there is, so much that I can give you guys in these small little videos on Facebook Live. And even if you put all the 1,600 videos on YouTube, I don't think that you want to go through over 1,600 little videos on YouTube to actually get everything that you need to know. And to be very honest, the volume is not the key here. It is how you use it, what's most important, and what you should leave behind. Many people are getting hooked into learning rather than practicing it. So my motto is don't learn French, practice it. So here are the topics that I'm going to cover this Sunday. The most important pronunciation rules. Number 1, the most important, did I count them? Yes, I did. The most important pronunciation rules that you need to know so that you are taken for a native and that you can actually hear what the other person is speaking back to you, what a French person speaks back to you based on the pronunciation. Number 2, 44 expressions that you need to know. Of course, I'm going to say them so you have the pronunciation. I'm also going to give you background in the pronunciation rules and, little small words that you need to know why you use those in those expressions. So 44 expressions that you need to know in order to be flawless in starting a conversation with a native and following through, as in continuing the conversation, not just starting. Number 3, what are the most important verbs that you need to know, tenses that you need to know, and so that you don't have to stop to think about a conjugation in the middle of conversation, and so that you get all the admiration from your friends. Number 4, genders in French, how to never stop in the middle of conversation and get that anxiety attack because you're not sure what gender is each word in what you're saying, that you're choosing, because that influences, that changes the entire phrase, so that's never going to happen again. Number 5, the relative tenses, the emergency tenses, the tenses that you should resort to in an emergency situation. So whenever that anxiety attack comes in, oh my God, I have no idea how to put this verb in whatever tense. One of these relative tenses will save the day. Number 6, the possessive adjectives, and those are mon, ton, son, mes, tes, ses, nos voleurs, and all those little tricky little buggers that actually mess up with your phrase construction, with your conversation, so that you raise the brows of your friends and the natives who know that you may be a beginner and not that advanced to know these little tricky words. And number 7, the expression il faut, why you should never use it and what to replace it with, so that you don't have to get necessarily in a subjunctive tense that you may not be very comfortable with using because it may be an irregular verb. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you the comparison between New York City and Paris. How to know all Parisian neighborhoods compared with New York City neighborhoods, so that you know what neighborhood you want to visit, so that you know if in any case you want to avoid any neighborhood and why. And so that eventually your trip to Paris becomes this unbelievably unforgettable experience and memory that you are gonna take home and tell your friends and family, children, grandchildren about. And of course, a little secret, I'm gonna spoil a little bit. I'm gonna talk also about the French romance. So a breakdown, and you know how to be a little bit like that if you want to. So this is all I had to say to you today. I really am looking forward to having you in the webinar. All you have to do is to go to the parisianfrench.com link and subscribe there so that I can send you the invite. Merci. Oh no, I'm never going to forget that. Don't ever give up on your dream to become bilingual. Learn to speak Parisian French on Skype and travel the world. Merci beaucoup et à dimanche. Au revoir.